Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
I think everyone's capable of playing this year. Like I said, it's up to coach to who plays. Farrell says everyone's been making plays, that everyone's proven to him that we're capable.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back into Sports Talk South Carolina Radio Network. On the road again tonight on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. We come to you from the beautiful Furman University campus. We're in their beautiful new field house, their beautiful new press box that debuted last year. As we look out, we see the gorgeous setting of Paris Mountain in the foreground. You know, if I had my choice between Paris Island and Paris Mountain, I think I would choose Paris Mountain 100% of the time. Good to have you with us on what is going to be a huge Tuesday night here on Sports Talk, but what night is not huge on Sports Talk? We have a starting quarterback at South Carolina. His name is Connor. Last name is not Shaw, it is Mitch. Though, Pro, I think the fact that USC's new starting quarterback has a first name of Connor will have a settling influence on Gamecock fans.
No, it won't. Not because this last name is different from the one that played. But then again, people have to remember when Connor Shaw came in there and fumbled, people freaked. Hey, this guy doesn't have it. Put Garcia back in. Didn't know at the time they were looking at the winningest starting quarterback in the history of the school.
Yeah, you never would have thought that. And that's a good point to bring up, and that is the keyword, patience. Of course, I don't know how patient Spurrier is going to be if things get off to a ragged start against North Carolina, but it would be wise to be patient. He's only a redshirt sophomore who's played hardly at all, and he's going to need some time to work his way into things at game speed. So we'll see what happens. Connor Mitch will be talking to the media. Should be doing it right about now, as will Steve Spurrier. K-Mac is out at practice. Meantime, at Clemson, DJ Reader is leaving the football team for the immediate future. This announcement coming this afternoon from Dabo Swinney, Pro. DJ Reader deciding to take a leave of absence, citing personal issues that he has to deal with. So this is the sixth individual player situation to arise at Clemson prior to the season. They had 3 arrests, and they had, now this case, they had Corey Rogers, and they had Jay Guillermo. Now, Guillermo, of course, has returned to the team and is a backup lineman. But, you know, does this send up any sort of red flags about what's happening at Clemson, where the perception is one of harmony and all is good, but they have had 6 different cases of a player issue here since last season?
Well, you know, you look at any campus in the country, it's going to come up at some point in time, and we've seen it on campuses all over the Southeast and all over the United States for that matter. Guys feel the pressure of being a big-time college football player and a student. Some have to step aside for a while.
All right, we'll talk about this and more coming up on Sports Talk from Furman University. We'll be back. It is an absolutely beautiful afternoon, warm but beautiful here in the upstate of South Carolina. Phil Kornblut on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Good to be with you from Furman University on this Tuesday night. First day of classes here at Furman, so the football practice is starting later than normal and will run later than normal. So we will have the Paladins with us later than normal. We'll have Coach here at 7:30 and players following him at 5. Between now and then, a couple of things. We'll open up the phone lines for the first time in a little while. Get your thoughts on Connor Mitch as the new starter at quarterback at South Carolina, the departure of DJ Reader for who knows how long at Clemson, and how that's going to impact the Clemson defensive front. This is a defense now which we knew was losing a lot of good people from last year's team, but we thought the frontline people were going to be would be just fine. With DJ Reader gone and Corin Wiggins gone and Corey Rogers gone, that's 3 players being counted on to contribute heavily on the defense. Who knows how long Reader will be gone? Guillermo, when he took his leave of absence, was gone for an extended period. But now he's back. Scott Pagano, according to the depth chart I have, he stands to move up to replace Reader in the starting lineups. You'd have Pagano and Watkins in the middle, Dodd and Lawson at the ends for Clemson. Dabo Sweeney will be talking with the media, and we'll get that to you probably a little bit after 7 o'clock. We'll get you stuff from USC here in just a little bit as soon as K-Mac gets it back into us. So this gives us some time to take some phone calls. 800-956-7266. Our email talkback@sportstalksc.com, and on Twitter @SportsTalkSC is how you can communicate with us there. As we wait for calls to come in, a few other things to pass along to you tonight. The SEC coaches released their preseason team today. USC's Pharaoh Cooper was named to 3 positions: first team at wide receiver, all-purpose back, and return specialist. How about that? So Cooper, highly regarded by the SEC coaches. Also from USC, named to the team by the coaches, offensive tackle Brandon Shell and place kicker Elliott Fry. They were named to the 3rd team. So your first team preseason all-SEC team by the coaches. The tight end is Evan Ingram from Ole Miss. The offensive linemen are Laramie Tunzel of Ole Miss, Vidal Alexander of LSU, Cam Robinson of Alabama, John Theus of Georgia. The center is Mike Matthews of A&M. Receivers, mentioned Cooper. Laquan Treadwell of Ole Miss. The quarterback is Dak Prescott of Mississippi State. Running backs, Nick Chubb, Georgia, and Leonard Fournette, LSU, and Cooper all-purpose. On defense, defensive line, Myles Garrett of A&M, Robert Kimdichie, Ole Miss, Sean Robinson of Alabama, and Chris Jones of Mississippi State. Linebackers, Reggie Ragland of Bama, Kurt Magid of Tennessee, and Jordan Jenkins of Georgia. Defensive back, Vernon Hargraves of Florida, Cyrus Jones of Bama, Jalen Mills of LSU, Jonathan Jones of Auburn, Marshall Morgan of Georgia, the place kicker, J.K. Scott of Bama, the punter, and Cooper, the return specialist. The second team quarterback, Matty Monk of Missouri. The 3rd team quarterback is a tie, Jeremy Johnson of Auburn and Joshua Dobbs of Tennessee. Apparently, the career of Georgia receiver Justin Wesley Scott is over. His high school coach told the Athens Banner-Herald that he is, quote, done playing after suffering a 3rd knee injury in less than 2 years. Mark Ritt told reporters Saturday that Scott Wesley would not be back in action for a while, if at all. And so it appears he's moving on to become a student coach. Hate to hear that for his career. Former USC signee Octavius Johnson is not going to prep school. Remember, he was headed towards Fork Union Prep originally. Instead, he has landed at Mississippi Gulf Coast Junior College, which means it'll be 2 years before he could be at South Carolina. It also means that he will be back on the open market from a recruiting standpoint. And they expect him to step right in and be a player right away. They open up on Thursday. Clemson and Nike, they've extended their athletic apparel deal for 8 years. This reported by the Business Journal, which obtained a copy of the deal this week. And Clemson and Nike are together through 2022. Previous deal expired June 30th. The new deal more than doubles the terms of the previous deal, mostly in increased equipment and apparel. The 8-year deal will net Clemson $23 million in cash and equipment and put it on par with similar athletic departments in the ACC. Former Clemson quarterback Taj Boyd, who was recently cut by the Steelers, he is apparently going to give Canada a shot. There you go, Pro.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go to Canada. And his agent, his marketing agent, Andy Sink, said he believes that the Canadian League is well suited for him. No word here yet as if he has received an offer from a Canadian team. But, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have held his rights for the past 2 years. So apparently he's going to go to Hamilton. And Hamilton is 6-2 and tied atop the Eastern Division standing. So good luck to Taj there north of the border. And Clemson linemen Shaq Lawson and Eric McLean have been named to the Lombardi Award watch lists. I think we've covered everything. Pro, you got anything you want to add?
No, that's about it.
All right, 800-956-7266. Mike Morgan, who took another vacation. Good Lord. He will be back with us tonight for our Braves report. And it's a good thing. The Braves won last night. He'll have something nice to say about them. Let's hear what you have to say for a few minutes. 800-956-7266. Reaction to Connor Mitch being named a USC starter. DJ Reader taking a leave of absence from Clemson. How will the Tigers feel that on defense as we go to the phones? And Billy in Greenville, you're up first tonight here on Sports Talk. Good to be in your town.
Yeah. Do you ever watch the SEC, games, the best 20 games of SEC this past year?
If I was running through the channels and happened to see it, I might have stopped and watched some of the games, bits and pieces. I don't think I sat down and watched an entire broadcast.
Yeah, in retrospect, I just let you see how close South Carolina was to winning and how close they were to losing last year. And, I guess, looking at a couple of people they have coming back, Farrell, Cooper, and I think the running back is going to be really, really good for them this year. Just my opinion.
Well, that's a legit opinion. I mean, I think they're pinning a lot on the legs of Brandon Wilds and David Williams. And, Brandon just has to stay healthy. Talking with him after the scrimmage the other day when he had the 70-yard run for a big guy, he says he runs a 4.4. And so when he gets out in front with that kind of speed, not many people are going to be able to catch him. His whole thing at USC has, two things. Number one, he's always been behind somebody. And number two, he gets banged up. He's had shoulders, he's had knees and things of that nature. His goal is to stay healthy and get as many carries as he can. And running behind what appears to be, at least here in preseason camp, appears to be a pretty good-looking offensive line at this point. So I think the running game is going to play a big part in whatever success the Gamecocks have, especially early in the season, Pro. I was talking to someone today who had been in touch with Larry Fedora at North Carolina. And, Fedora was telling him offensively, North Carolina is going to be very good. South Carolina's got no place to hide on defense when it comes to facing North Carolina's offense. 9 starters back, a 3-year starter at quarterback, 2 running backs they feel really good about, terrific receivers. I don't know if the South Carolina defense is going to be up to the test that opening game a week from Thursday.
Yeah, they might be up to the test. The other reason is you can do what other opponents did to North Carolina last year, and that was just outscore them. So you don't want to get in a track meet with them. As I said, the best thing you can do with a rhythm offense like that is to let them stand and get cold on the sideline with a strong running game.
Well, there you go, and I think that's what Spurrier will have in mind. And they can do play action off the running game if the running game is working. We'll be right back. Back we are, Sports Talk up at Furman University tonight. Be sure to be listening later tonight for our Sports Talk High School Football Report, a service of Farm Bureau Insurance. With new auto insurance rates from Farm Bureau Insurance, you could be saving a whole lot of money, even if you've received a quote before. Rates are now more competitive than ever. Get a free quote today from your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents, and we'll give you Players of the Week coming up a little bit later here on Sports Talk. 800-956-7266 is the phone number. Back to your calls in a moment. Jeff Brookman, who was the basketball coach at Spartanburg Methodist and led them to a #1 national ranking, third place finish 2 years ago, has been named the new basketball coach at Anderson University. So congratulations to him. As we go back to your phone calls, it's Irv in Charleston. Irv, welcome into Sports Talk tonight. How are you? Terrific.
That's good. I'm just sitting down talking with a buddy of mine, and we just were running across some former Gamecock players. Just want to know, have you an update on Shaq Rowland, what he's doing now? Has he landed with a roster? Just your take on why his promising career never panned out at South Carolina. I'll hang up and listen to your feedback.
Thank you. He was supposed to go to Prairie View A&M. In fact, he was there. He was enrolled at Prairie View A&M, and for whatever reason, he left there. And to my knowledge, has not landed anywhere to continue his football career this year. Why it didn't work out for him at South Carolina, I think, it was just a case where being too close to home was not in his best interest. In fact, I was told by people close to him way back when that even though it was great for South Carolina to get him, he had a bad crowd around him, and he was not able to shake that at South Carolina, apparently. And so it might have been best for him personally to have gone outside the state to get when he left high school.
Well, the key point is you can make a decision to tell the group that you're no longer dealing with them. And because, see, it's too quick to say where you are is your problem. I had a young lady tell me years ago, she said, look, I went to school, didn't do well. I came back home, didn't do well. And then I left and went to a third school, and I figured it out. It wasn't the schools, it was me. Sometimes it's you. I think Shaq Rowland is not different from a lot of young players we see in college. Things came easy to them in high school because they were tremendous athletically talented. But when they got to a level where they had to work and there was talent just as good as they were on the other side to stop them, they ceased to want to play the game. They didn't want to take that extra step to be a successful player. And it happens to some players who just can't dealing with now football becomes a job and just is not something you do on one night a week.
All right, thanks for your phone call. 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com, on Twitter @sportstalksc. We'll continue with more calls, and we should be hearing from the USC side of things coming up shortly. We'll be right back. Sports Talk on a Tuesday night. Good to have you back with us from Furman University in the press box overlooking the beautiful artificial surface at Paladin Stadium at the foot of the Paris Mountain. Not really Paris Mountains. It's just one mountain, Paris Mountain. And beautiful, beautiful view. And I tell you what, there is no finer view in South Carolina of a football setting than late September, October here at Paladin Stadium. It's breathtaking with the leaves turning colors and all that. It's a great, great sight. And the Paladins are excited about the season. Reese Hennon, their outstanding quarterback, he'll be one of the Paladins joining us in the next hour, along with their standout linebacker, Corey Magwood, two South Carolina kids, Hannon from Greer and Magwood from Wade Hampton. Hampton of Wade Hampton of Hampton, or Varnville. He's actually a resident of Varnville. So they are pumped up about this year's team. They can keep Reese Hannon healthy. It's been one of the big things that has hurt them recently is just his health. If they can keep him upright and healthy, they'll have a chance against a very tough schedule that includes Coastal Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Central Florida in the first 3 weeks. That's a tough slate at the FCS level to open up against. 800-956-7266. Connor Mitch is your USC starting quarterback. That's the big news from USC land. And DJ Reader has left the Clemson football program for an unknown period of time to deal with personal issues. That's your big news out of Clemson today. We'll hear from the head coaches coming up as soon as we can. In the meantime, back to your phone calls, 800-956-7266 to Harry in Chesterfield. Welcome in, Harry. How are you?
Hey, Phil. Hey, Pro. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Just about football, I know everybody's excited in the state about the start of football season. Does it seem like last year USC came into the season ranked number 9 preseason and had all these high expectations, and then they had some problems and come up short? Does it seem like Clemson is in the same situation this year as South Carolina last year? They're putting all this pressure on having Deshaun Watson stay healthy all season, but if he goes down, then Clemson could have a bad season, as South Carolina did last year. So do you think this is sort of a similar situation for Clemson as South Carolina last year? And what Pro said a while ago about outscoring your opponents. Clemson is in the situation where I believe with Deshaun Watson and all the playmakers on offense, they can outscore a lot of people to make up for a suspect defense. But South Carolina, not having a proven quarterback, it might be a little more difficult for them to score points because they lost one of their better quarterbacks in Dylan Thompson. I think he led the SEC in passing last year, if I'm not mistaken. But it just seems to me that Clemson's in the same situation Carolina was last year. What do y'all think about that?
All right, thanks for the call. Well, Clemson, they have pushed the expectation level up very high. And that's the way they want it. Dabo has always believed competing for championships year in and year out is where he wants his football program to be. Thus, he wants to be talked about. He doesn't want to be talked about as an also-ran in his division or in his league. So expectations are high. Pressure is what you put on yourself. I mean, there is outside pressure, but you live in a cocoon and you don't let that affect you. I think that Deshaun Watson has proven that when healthy, he's as good as you can get out in college football, and he can make all the throws and make all the big plays. You just got to keep him healthy. Offensive line has a chance to be very good. There is a question at both tackle spots because of inexperience on one side and performance on the other, plus health on the other side. Running back, solid, but no spectacular running back. Receivers, of course, are outstanding. So, the idea of Clemson throwing the ball a lot and outscoring people certainly exists. The defense is a bit of a question mark because of the loss of personnel from last year and so far this year, though they still feel good about the players they're plugging into the various spots. The media reports that I read from the folks up there covering Clemson have been nothing but glowing about the individuals and the teamwork. And the coaches have been, for the most part, extremely positive about the camp. There was Brent Venables the other day. He wasn't all that happy about the performance of the defense, and he was concerned about depth. And it's not going to make him any happier that DJ Reader is gone for now. So that could become a concern. Also, not to be overlooked when it comes down to wins is the fact that you've got an unproven kicking game, both in terms of punting and place kicking, and that could come unraveled easily under pressure when you talk about pressure. So all that said, you look at Clemson and their schedule and you say, who would they be an underdog to at this stage of the season going in? I think they're favored right now against everybody, Pro, until they go out and prove otherwise that they're not capable of living up to those expectations.
And even if you say that they may be an underdog against Florida State, they get Florida State in Death Valley. So that kind of evens things out. I think the key point is there's a little difference in my mind between South Carolina and Clemson, and I'll explain why defensively. Last year, South Carolina not only lost personnel, they changed their system. So when young guys came in, they said, where am I supposed to be? Well, the veterans couldn't tell them either because they were in a different system. So you saw some things go haywire, especially in those 3 games when they blew double-digit leads late in the fourth quarter. They seemed to not be on the same page. When they reverted and used some of the principles they used from the defense the year before, then the veteran players could tell guys where to go because they knew the defense. Here, Clemson is not changing their defense. So their veterans on that defense and some of those backups who will now get starting positions this year, they know the defense because Brent Venables is not changing it. So there's a little bit of a difference there from what South Carolina had to go through defensively to what Clemson has to do this year.
All right, thanks for your phone call, 800-956-7266. To Florence, we go next. And Scott, good evening and welcome into Sports Talk.
Good evening, fellas. How y'all doing today?
We're doing great.
I just wanted to throw in a quick phone call and hear your thoughts on being a Tar Heel fan and then the low state. I was just curious, I know offensively I think we're as talented as we've ever been, maybe not at the quarterback position, but I think at the skill positions, offensive line. Obviously, we returned 10 of 11 starters, so I feel really good there. I also like the fact that Gene Chizik came in, more so because I think Larry Fedora's had soft defenses just about everywhere he went, and I'm curious to see how well Gene Chizik and the fact that he's been in the SEC raises the level of the defense. Obviously, going to a more simplified scheme than what we had last year should help out a lot of those kids, and they're not quite as overwhelmed with what they have to do. But I'm just thinking, or I'm just curious what your thoughts are on, Gene Chizik coming in. Can he make, he seems, from the few times that I've seen him in practices and from the few times I've seen him in interviews, he seems to be this has to happen and it has to happen right away, and I expect it to happen right away, and I'm a champion, and I'm bringing that type of attitude to this football team, and I'm going to bring a hard defense to a soft Larry Fedora-style defense. It just seems like the sense of urgency is there, and I don't know if it's to prove a point that he shouldn't have been let go at Auburn or what.
I will say this. Chizik's reason for being a champion is about 2 hours down the road sitting in Charlotte as a quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, because let's face it, Cam Newton was Superman that particular year for Gene Chizik. Now, here's an interesting point, Phil. I don't know if it's Gene Chizik or just the way their roster was, but you can recall when Gene Chizik was at Auburn, their linebackers were as small as some people's safeties. They like people who can run and get to the football, and they eschewed size for speed. Now, if he tries to do that against South Carolina, Spurrier is going to send those 2 big backs in the middle to test his linebacker. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of defense they employ there as far as their personnel is concerned. Well,
it's going to be a 4-3, and I'll say this. It's an older defense. It's mostly juniors and seniors. There is one freshman in the starting 2 deep, and that's the strong safety, J.K. Britt. He's battling Dominique Green, who is a junior. But it is an older defense, but it's kind of a no-name defense. There's not a lot of recognizable guys from recruiting wars as part of that defense. We'll be right back. All right, back to your calls in a moment here on Sports Talk. Sports Talk High School Football Report, a service of Farm Bureau Insurance. With new auto insurance rates from Farm Bureau, you could be saving a whole lot of money, even if you've received a quote before. Rates are now more competitive than ever. Get a free quote today from your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. Let's take a look at the first high school players of the week, courtesy of David Shelton, High School Sports Report. And in 1A, player of the week is Jamari Dunbar, Bamberg Earhart, 139 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 2A, it's Generic Reed from Marion, running back, 211 yards, 5 touchdowns. 3A player of the week, Logan Bailey of Chapin, senior quarterback, had a great game, 259 yards passing, 2 touchdowns passing, and 3 rushing touchdowns. 4A player of the week is Datron James, running back, Fort Dorchester, 237 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's a great start to the season. Your Skeeza player of the week from Trinity Burns, quarterback Cam Peace, 181 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 140 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. There you go, players of the week. There you go with the Farm Bureau High School Football Report here on Sports Talk for tonight. 800-956-7266, the number. We get back to your phone calls. It's Delvin in Fountain Inn with us next. Delvin, how are you? Welcome into Sports Talk.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing this evening?
Good, man. Good.
I want to talk about Connor Mitchell being named starter. I'm not surprised, but I had a feeling that I thought that Lorenzo Nunez had a shot at start, and I guess if he would have came in earlier, I think he would have had a chance to start. But Steve Spread said he's going to get a chance to play because I think he's fitting better in his offense than a mobile quarterback like Connor Shaw was. That's why I think he probably had to start. But he's going Connor Mitchell at quarterback. But don't be surprised would you be surprised if you see Lorenzo Nunez early in the game? I wouldn't.
Well, looking at some of Spurrier's quotes after practice, he said the competition was extremely close. They had to make a decision. They felt that he was slightly ahead of the rest, and he'll have the opportunity to be the quarterback the entire year. And so that's what he's saying about Mitch. I wouldn't be surprised to see some things for Lorenzo Nunez. They have said that the freshman's going to play. Now, whether or not you're going to see anything for Perry Orth or Michael Scarnecchia remains to be seen. But they're going to give Mitch every opportunity to go in, be the starting quarterback, and hold on to that job. And hopefully for them, as K-Mac joins us now from practice, hopefully for them, if things go well, they avoid a revolving door. And so K-Mac standing next to Spurrier, listening to what he had to say. How confident did he sound in his words in announcing Mitch is the guy?
Well, confident enough to say that he's their guy and they're going to turn him loose, and he thinks he's good enough to be the quarterback the whole season. He didn't say he's getting the first crack at it. We'll see what he can do, and if he can't do it, we'll get somebody else in there. He said Connor Mitch, we talked to him as well before we talked to Spurrier, and he said Spurrier dropped a hint last night that he was probably leaning his direction, and then today in the team meeting, he announced that Connor Mitch was the guy. And the backup is still a little up in the air, although it does look like Perry Orth would get the first look. And the caller mentioned Lorenzo Nunez. Spurrier said that Lorenzo will get an opportunity to play somewhere at some point, possibly in the first game against North Carolina.
Yeah, I would assume that there is a possibility, which I'm just thinking out loud, that you may not see Pharaoh Cooper at Wildcat. They'll keep him at wideout or move him around. And this edition of Wildcat 2015 would have Lorenzo Nunez under center instead of using him there. The interesting thing is he was, our last caller was talking about need Connor Shaw in that offense. Well, Dylan Thompson was not Connor Shaw, and that offense was prolific last year. If they had a defense, you'd be saying, wait a minute, that offense works with a running quarterback and a guy who stands in the pocket. So, both elements can work in a Spurrier offense.
Absolutely. K-Mac, I'm looking at a tweet here about one of the Dixons, but it doesn't explain what it's about. Did you catch anything on that?
I'm not sure what the tweet about the Dixons is about. Did briefly talk to Lorenzo Ward, kind of lost in the flood. It was supposed to be a defensive day, but the Connor Mitch story took, as you would imagine, all of the headlines. But the Dixon boys, it's both of their last year. I think somebody asked if one of them had an extra year, and they came in with Clowney. They redshirted, so this is their last year, as we all know. The starting defensive ends right now, pros boy, Cedric Cooper is at one, Quay Lewis at the other. The backups, Darius English and Gerald Dixon are the backup defensive ends right now.
Okay, we'll hear from the Gamecocks coming up. We've got Clemson coming up as well in the next hour, plus Furman. We'll be right back. All right, USC has wrapped up practice, as has Clemson. USC has also wrapped up its media session. Let's get right to Steve Spurrier just a little while ago from the practice grounds.
Yeah, we named Connor Mitch our starting quarterback, and he's can be the starter the entire year. We're going to give him every opportunity to take the reins and run with it. We're going to support him and give him every chance to be the quarterback the entire year. The competition was extremely close, but we got to make a decision, and we felt he was slightly ahead maybe, and he's ready to go. So we're going to give him all the support we can, stick him out there, and as long as he takes care of the ball and keeps his head calm, he very easily could be the quarterback the entire year, barring injury.
Why did you feel he was the right guy for the job?
I felt like he was slightly ahead of the other guys. I just think he's a little bit better prepared. The other guys are pretty close, though. And what the competition has done, it's got two other guys ready to play. So if he sprains his ankle or can't play, we'll be in good hands with Perry or Michael Scarnecchia. And also Lorenzo Nunez. He's capable of playing a bit.
How close was the competition?
It was close. You guys watched it. Statistically, wasn't very much difference at all. You just sometimes you got to make a decision. He's been here a little longer than the other guys. I think he's prepared well this offseason. So we think he's ready to go.
Why was today the right day?
Today was the day, 9 days ahead. Like I said, to give him a chance to be our quarterback, give him a chance to – guys look at him a little differently. Everybody looks at starting quarterback a little differently than just another dude out here competing for a job. So hopefully he'll have a little bit of leadership qualities, those kind of things that may help him and help the team.
Did the mentality change now that you've announced what the team say?
Oh, I don't know about that. They got confidence. Whoever's out there, we're going to be all right.
Those 3 interceptions bother you in scrimmage? They worry you?
Oh, what worries us is how he'll play in the game. He turns the ball loose a couple times, a little loosely, but hopefully he'll learn from it. Yeah.
Steve, when you entered fall camp, did you think Connor was the guy and you wanted to confirm that?
Oh, we had to let him compete. Nobody had done enough to say he's it, and they've all done pretty well though. None of them have been terrible. So, but we thought he was a little slightly ahead, and but we're going to get behind him. This is not, hey, you're starting and he's going the second quarter. It's none of that. He's got a chance to be the quarterback. So hopefully he'll go the distance against the Tar Heels and be ready for the next game.
Who is his backup?
I would say that Perry, Orth, and Skarnecki are very close. And Perry's a little older. He might go in there second. But we'll worry about that if the time comes.
Is there still plans to have Nunez in that first game, maybe as a sort of?
Oh yeah, we'll put him out there somewhere. I'm not sure where right now, but hopefully he'll be on the field. Yeah. Okay. All right. Got to make decisions sometime, don't we, Josh?
There we go.
Yeah, give him a chance to beat it out.
All right, I got 2 words for Connor Mitch. Tommy Beecher. He too from North Carolina. He too won the job. He too, or not he too, but he didn't last very long as a starter. We'll see if Connor Mitch's era lasts longer than a half, and we'll be back.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
And Mike Morgan joins us for our Braves Report, brought to you by Play It Again Sports off Bower Parkway in Columbia and by Founders Federal Credit Union, helping South Carolinians attain their financial goals. Back from vacation number 4 of the baseball season, Mike returns and the Braves win last night. Coincidence?
Well, I don't know. If it is, I'd be glad to take one for the team and have some more vacations. I'd be more than happy to do that. That's the kind of guy I am. But yeah, it was nice to see Julio Teheran. Very quietly, Julio Teheran is bouncing back in a good way here the last month and a half or so. The story on him all year long has been good at home, wretched on the road. But he's even improved his performances on the road. He's starting to look like the pitcher that we thought he would be at the beginning of the year. In a lot of ways, he's had to redefine himself. He's no longer a power pitcher. It's not to say he doesn't throw hard, but he doesn't throw 96. And now he's getting people out throwing 91, 92. So a little bit of a difference there as I'm hearing K-Mac in the background. But nevertheless, that's the story from last night.
Yeah. Pope, why are we hearing K-Mac screaming in the background? Something about an angry Dabo. I heard your angry Dabo going out over the air, K-Mac.
My bad.
Very nice.
This thing's working?
Yes.
I'm not used to talking on this show.
Assume that every mic is live, okay? You'll avoid big problems. Mike, all right, so what are the Braves doing here as we head towards September? Call-up wise, what will they be looking at as they start to dip into the farm teams to bring people up?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question. I mean, everybody was anticipating the debut of Olivares, the guy they gave up so much for in the Dodgers deal, including Alex Wood, and that's just been halted week by week now. I mean, we've been told he's been ready to go for a couple of times. It just hasn't happened, so that's been a little bit of a buzzkill. Other than that, you're going to see a lot of young guys continue to be in the lineup. You continue to pitch on the mound. No starter over the age of 25. I can't remember the last time I saw a major league team with that distinction. But I'll say something in closing because I know we're running out of time. I thought Joe Simpson said something very interesting on a play last night. It's the Braves analyst, okay? Mm-hmm. And he pointed out on Freddie Freeman ball that was an out but it advanced the runner, normally a high-five situation. Freddie Freeman went back to the dugout, and no player really offered any congratulations. And Joe Simpson kind of posed the question, has this team just checked out? And that was the subject of a lot of talk here today in Atlanta. It's one thing to lose games. It's another thing to look uninspired. And I think that's something that Freddie Gonzalez has to make sure does not happen the rest of the way.
Well, I tell you what, I'm coming in Saturday for the Yankees. They will be inspired. The Yankees will be inspired. The Yankee fans will be inspired. Those of us who will be dominating the stands at Turner Field. And let's hope the Braves continue to be uninspired, at least for this coming weekend. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. Braves Report here on Sports Talk, starring Mike Morgan. We'll come back, and I guess we've got for you and more coming up.
It's a great feeling. Just know you got to go to work some more now and just prove them why they took.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk's been a busy day around the state of South Carolina with all the football happenings, including the naming of USC starting quarterback K-Mac. Connor Mitch, you were there to talk with him after he got the good news.
He will make his first career start in his home state against a North Carolina team full of players that he grew up with and knows very well, and he's excited.
It's a great feeling. Just know you got to go to work some more now and just prove them why they chose me as a starter.
Why do you think they chose you?
That's a coach's decision. I think I just put in a lot of work and effort and shown a lot of leadership this past fall camp, and hopefully made the decision for them easier.
When did Steve tell you?
He actually told us today in the team meeting.
Okay, so were you surprised at all? Did you have maybe a feeling it was coming?
He kind of hinted to me yesterday, so I was kind of expecting it maybe.
What does the Steve Spurrier hint sound like? A wink and a chuckle? How did that go?
I opened the door for him actually, and he said, "You'd be happy if I named you the starter, right?" I said, "Absolutely."
So you should have been opening the door for him a long time ago.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
What are your strengths?
Do you ever have any doubt?
No, you always have to have faith in yourself. That's leadership of the quarterback and just leader of the offense. And that's what you have to have.
Does it change the mentality or excitement level heading into next week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it makes it a lot more interesting. Just got to go to work now. That's all the mentality I have.
How excited are you kind of not only to be named the starter, but to be going against one of your home state schools first game out?
It's going to be very awesome. I know a lot of people on that team, almost too many, so it's kind of a rivalry.
What do you do well? What do you do best?
Just being a leader of the offense, making sure everyone goes where they need to, keep the ball moving, score points.
Talk about those 3 interceptions that you've thrown in scrimmage. What happened there? Does that make you nervous heading into the game next week?
Oh, absolutely not. You got to learn from them and move on. Obviously, I'm going to put the blame on myself for throwing interceptions. You're not supposed to do that, so you got to learn from it.
Kind of Coach Spurrier's reputation of switching quarterbacks. Do you have to feel like you have to win this job every day, or what changes about your mindset, if anything?
I mean, of course, I got to look like I got to win it every day. I can't get lenient and sit back and get lazy or I just got to keep act like I got to win it every day. You felt this has
been your job all along, though, in camp?
Obviously, every quarterback has to have that mentality. I'm sure all 4 of them, other 3 of them had them also, so you have to have it.
Talking with a few players, the other guys seemed to think all along that you were going to be the starter. Did you feel that way too with how they approached you?
Yeah, I took all the first team reps, obviously, so I felt like I was in the position to win it, but just got to keep working.
Was this presented to you and the team as Connor's the guy, here we go, or Connor, you're going to get the first shot and let's see how it goes?
Coach Spurrier said if I keep moving the ball, don't make mistakes, don't turn it over. I mean, obviously I can keep leading this team, so I got to go and do that.
When you came here, is this how you saw it playing out, a red shirt? See, I mean, did you have sort of the way it would go mapped out in your head?
I mean, they kind of – Coach Mangus and Coach Spurrier, when they came in my in-home visit when I was still in high school, they kind of told me obviously I was going to redshirt and Dylan was going to be the guy. So hopefully after that season, this upcoming season, it was going to be mine. So I looked at it that way and just keep working hard.
Coach Spurrier said in spring, I think he thought you looked more confident when you came out there, more like you were stepping up into the position. Was that accurate? Did something happen to make you that way, or is it just the fact that you were getting them at that point?
I mean, as soon as the bowl game was over, I had to go into the mentality that this was my team to lead. And I had to start that off in winter workouts and in the spring ball and now in fall camp. So it's got to keep working into the season.
Describe that feeling kind of like this is your team. Describe that feeling kind of like this is your team. Like you get to get on like this.
It's awesome. I'm one of 14 people to start in the SEC, so that's an awesome feeling.
All right, there you go. Your new USC starting quarterback, Connor Mitch. And, I think much like the previous Connor, doesn't say a whole lot. And they hope that his work on the field will speak volumes about him rather than his words. Okay, Dabo Swinney is now ready to be heard from. Here is Dabo Swinney, the Tigers coach, after practice a little while ago and spreading the news about the departure of DJ Reader and other things.
If he will be back.
No. I mean, that's really not anything to do with me. That's really, on him. And, he's at the end of the day, I mean, the timing of things are never good. When you're a football player or whatever, especially in the season, but at the end of the day, these are still people. And, they're real people with real problems and lives and they don't always make good decisions and things like that. And sometimes they have problems. But this is, a decision that he's made to kind of step away for a little bit, just like I said, and see if he can get himself better with the issues he's dealing with. But we're not, we're moving forward. Like, it's next man up. Let's move forward.
You are much more than a coach. You talked about your support system here, people you've got in place, Trap, Davis, yourself. Try to talk them out of it and try to say, look, push through this.
No, we're here to support our players, and it's just that simple. I've always said I'd rather lose trying to do things right than to win not doing it right. That ain't gonna change. And again, we're fortunate that we got good players, and we'll support DJ best we can, and hopefully he'll be back with us at some point. I have no idea, but that's not my focus. My focus is on this team and making sure we're ready to go. But we got Christian Wilkins and Byers and Jabril and Huggins and Pagano. I mean, we got a great group of guys. We'll be ready to play. Well, that's what we're going to let these guys compete between. Probably right now, between Pagano and Wilkins and Byers, those three guys will probably compete for that next spot. We'll feel good about the work we've gotten out of Carlos, but they're all going to play. They're all going to play. That position, I think we're in pretty good shape, and we got some guys I think that have earned the opportunity to get in there and mix it up.
Does Sterling Johnson now kind of get a better chance maybe that?
No, he's going to redshirt.
Still going to redshirt. Okay.
You've had a rough 3 or 4 months with personnel issues, like of a variety of sorts. Is that?
I don't think we've had a rough 3. I think it's been a great 3 or 4 months. You got a guy that gets in trouble, that gets put off the team out of 115 players. You got a guy that goes pro. Good other night, by the way. I was pretty impressed with him at left tackle. You got another guy who gets in a bad situation. We got a lot of guys that have had great summers and great 3 or 4 months. It's unfortunate that, a few guys that don't do the right things, that's all of a sudden you've had a bad summer, and that's not the case at all. We've had a great summer. And this football team is focused. This football team is ready to play. My job is to always maintain discipline within the program, and I'll do that. And if it means letting a guy go, if it means sitting a guy down, we'll handle that. And I'm the only one that can make those decisions. And I'm very confident in where we are, from that standpoint. But nothing's changed. I love our team, love our personnel, and we'll be ready to play September 5th.
And is DJ being disciplined, or is this?
No, this is again, a decision that he made for some personal things that he's dealing with. And there's nothing else to say, guys. I'm not going to answer any more questions about DJ Reader. I put a statement out. Don't ask me another question about him. I'm going to talk about the guys that are here on this team. Period. The end. So y'all want to talk about Christian? You want to talk about Huggins? You want to talk about Pagano? You want to talk about the guys that are here? That's who we're going to talk about. All them other guys that aren't here, that's not who we're focused on. So I get it. I've answered your questions. I've made a statement. Ain't nothing else to say.
You've been in college football for a long time. You know this. A defensive line that loses all 4 starters rarely comes back within months and is as good as it was the previous year. An offensive line that loses 80% of the starting lineup rarely is as good as it was I mean, how often have you seen that?
I have no idea. All I know is we had 42 freshmen in 2011 won the ACC. That's all I know. Grady Jarrett, Sean Williams, all them guys were freshmen and had to play a lot for us. I could care less. All I know is we're going to be judged on what we do this year.
There you go. Dabo Swinney from just a little while ago up at Clemson talking about the departure of DJ Reader for who knows how long. One of 6 individual player incidences the Tigers have had to deal with in some form or another since last football season. But Dabo says all is fine, all is good, not worried about it. And we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network up at Furman University. Palmetto Pigskin Tour stop. Let's see, tomorrow night back in the studio. Thursday, down to Coastal. These two teams meet in the regular season opener, 7 o'clock right here at Paladin Stadium. Corn's going to be here for that. Works out perfectly. Clemson, Wofford at 12:30. Come on over to Greenville after that. Furman and Coastal Carolina, which I think is going to be maybe the best game in the state that particular day. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Teams with high expectations, 2 teams with outstanding quarterbacks. Yeah, going to be here for that. Looking forward to that. All right, Furman will be here in just a couple of minutes. Welcome in Chip Weil, president of Darlington, because you know what's coming up right around the corner. It's race time, Bojangles Southern 500 style. And Chip, you are indeed the clock. How excited are you?
Man, I can't wait. It just seems like you can't get here fast enough. You know, we got so much activity out of the racetrack this weekend. You generally don't see that until race week, but because we have an off week, people are starting to move in. So it's just getting us even that more excited for the Bojangles Southern 500.
Are the NBC people coming in extra early because it's their first go around there?
No, you know, they've been here a number of times over the last 4 or 5 months, just doing site visits and such. And it's so they won't move until next Tuesday, and that's okay. Right? We need as much to make sure the place looks good.
True. Now, let's remind everybody, because you're racing on Sunday night, the overall weekend schedule compared to previous years has changed.
Yeah, you know, we're a 3-day show, where before we were a 2-day show. So we have practice on Friday, and then both series qualify Saturday, and then the Xfinity race is at 3:30. And then Sunday, the Cup cars take some center stage here at Darlington at 7 p.m. live on NBC.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. How are the ticket sales looking?
Man, really good. You know, we need all of our local support. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for the Bojangles 7500, get them today. 1-866-459-RACE, 1-866-459-RACE, or darlingtonraceway.com. You know, this is going to be a really special year. I had the opportunity to talk to the governor today. She's excited. She's going to be here. We got all these Hall of Famers and all the other activity around it. So it's going to be a special year, and certainly one that people won't want to miss.
Yeah, it's going to be real neat to see the new paint schemes on the cars, the throwback paint schemes on many of the cars as well. And for folks looking ahead, when can fans start to move in with their RVs, their campers, and all that?
Yeah, you know, our infield, which has been sold out for, 2 months now, it opens on Thursday. And the other campgrounds, which are also sold out, it's the first time we've had all of our camping sold out before race weekend in a number of years. They open up on Tuesday. So it's things are starting to happen. You know, we got all our tents getting set up and generators being moved in and light towers, all the operation things. It's starting to happen, which makes it really seem real.
Okay, we'll talk to you next week and get a final preview from you. Thank you, Chip.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Chip Wild, president of Darlington, with us here tonight on Sports Talk. When we come back, we turn our attention to the Furman Paladins of 2015. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're back on Sports Talk. The Palmetto Pigskin Tour is at Furman University. No finer place to be in the afternoon, but up in Greenville at the foot of Paris Mountain in Paladin Stadium in this beautiful facility that they built and opened up last year for the Paladins and their fans, and we're just pleased as punch to be here. Coach Bruce Fowler has joined us, and we're getting him fresh off the practice field. How are you?
Just finished up. Yeah, doing great, Phil. Appreciate you being here and coming up to Furman, spending evening with us.
It's fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah,
me and Hunter's going to take me out for dinner afterwards. What more could I ask for, huh?
He ought to.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right.
How was practice today?
Practice good. It's been a really good couple weeks for us. It's a good team on the practice field. You know, you never know until you get in that first game exactly how you're going to respond. But we have had a tremendous preseason. Started classes today, and you know, a lot of times first day of class is a little bit shaky, but today they came out, and we've just had a lot of, you know, great effort on the practice field. And we're, you know, like I said, you never know for sure exactly how that's going to translate to the first game, but really encouraged by the way our guys are working.
What, going into camp, you and your staff, what were some of the key points that you had in mind? And at this point, have you sort of checked those off the to-do list in camp?
Yeah, I mean, you always have, you know, personnel things that you're looking at in a few spots here and there. We had an unusual year last year with some of the injury things, and so we had a lot of guys that got some experience. You know, I think Hunter told me at one time we had 36 guys returning that had some starting experience of one time or another. But the biggest thing for us is just we weren't competitive enough last year. We weren't competitive enough in practice and drill work and things, and that reflected in our gameplay. So, you know, being competitive and being consistent are two things that we've really worked on, and you know, those are things you got to check off every day. That's not a one-time check, I guess is the best way to put it. So we're still a work in progress, but like I said, we've been really pleased with some of the progress we've made.
Well, winning just 3 games last year, I know that's left you and your players hungry. And maybe you're seeing that in camp.
No doubt. I mean, I think that, you know, we had high expectations last year. And sometimes when things don't go your way, you find out a little bit about yourself. And that's what happened last year. I think when we had hit a couple rough spots there, we didn't respond the way we needed to. And we've learned from that, have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and have come out every day. And you know, that shows up in practice, I think, more than probably any other place. And we've had a good off season in addition to that. And we're making, like I said, you know, we're just continuing day by day to try to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't want to pin the season on one guy. Obviously, you got to have 22, 30, 35 guys all coming together. But we're going to be talking to your quarterback, Reese Hannon, here in a little bit. It just seems like when he's out there, things go well.
Yep. We've had that, you know, Reese came in here as a freshman and got thrown actually against Coastal Carolina, got thrown into action early in I think the second half. But he came in there and started his whole freshman year for us, and then was a little banged up his sophomore year. But we've won games when Reese has been playing, has tremendous intangibles when it comes to leadership and things like that. Our players really respect him and trust him, and it shows when he's out there.
What do you have to do to keep him healthy?
Well, I just think we got to go out there and play, you know, wide open and do things. There's really no magic to that. I mean, Reese is a tough guy with the durability to get it done. He's an extremely hard worker in the weight room and conditions well, has a very healthy body. It's just last year was kind of a freak thing, and you can't look at it like it's going to ever happen again.
So with a healthy Reese Hannon, where do you expect the offense to go? I mean, what kind of numbers can you expect, especially in the passing game?
Well, I think our efficiency in passing is what's critical. There's 2 things that we really look at, how we do with our passing efficiency, you know, just being able to take care of the football, have a high yardage per attempt, and then do a great job with the football in the red on the passing game. And I think, you know, the things we're doing, we're really working hard on those things in practice and see some things. And then we obviously have to be able to run the ball, Phil. If we don't do that, we're going to have a hard time being successful. And who will show up as a top guy at the running back spot. We've got a bunch of guys that are really pretty even, to be honest with you, and we're going to just there as we go forward.
Would you, Furman, we're used to seeing the 1,000-yard rusher here.
Yep.
We're used to seeing that bell cow, a guy that you can give the ball to time and again. Do you have somebody who could emerge?
I'm not sure about that. I think we've got some guys that could, but who that's going to be, it's not clear yet. We still got some real competitiveness going on at the running back slot this year out there preseason. And then your offensive line, tight end, and blocking on the perimeter. There's obviously more than just one guy to it, but I think our scheme's set up and we've got the guys that can do that. Whether it'll be one guy or more of a committee type of thing, I don't know, but I think we got a chance to be pretty good in that part.
How do you like your defense?
Defensively, I think we've made just an amazing amount. We got a new defense coordinator in Kyle Gillenwater, and he's a longtime guy at James Madison, and had some great success there with defenses. But he's brought an attitude and kind of an edge and swagger, whatever you want to call it, to our defense. And when they go to practice, they kind of know they on and go out with that right attitude, and we're really getting to the ball well, playing the kind of defense that we want to be known for. And if we continue making the progress, I think we'll be ready to go on that.
You guys defensively, it seems like every year you churn out a big time linebacker.
Yep.
I've been up here I don't know how many years, and every year we've got a good linebacker to talk to. We're going to be talking to Corey Magwood here coming up in a little bit. He's coming off a year of 123 total tackles. And is he the leader of that defense?
Yeah, I think Corey's, and he was. We certainly were hoping he would emerge as the leader, but he certainly has. Preseason also, but off season, and he's got the physical abilities to really have a great year. He just needs to stay healthy, and he's doing that. Take great care of his body, and he's worked again hard to make his body stronger. He's going to gain some size in the off season, and we're really expecting him to do a great job for us this year.
Open up against Coastal Carolina.
Yep.
Right here, 7:00, a week from Saturday. I think we're going to have an electric atmosphere here.
Yeah, I think it could be a great night for us. It's 7:00 kickoff, like you said. Coastal Carolina's, I think, ranked in the top 5, 6, somewhere in there. But they've done a great job down there, and we've played them and haven't done very well. We've had a couple overtime losses right here on this field, and some close games down there. So it'll be, last year I think it was 2 or 3 overtimes, I can't remember, but we didn't win the game. They did. And so our players are really looking forward to that game, and know it'll be a great challenge, but it also gives us a chance to, kind of put a mark and play a top FCS team right out the gate, an in-state team here that we got a lot of respect for, like I said, but be a great challenge.
Now, you've got a tough 3 weeks to open the season, man. Yeah. Coastal, then Virginia Tech and Central Florida on the
2 games, against, FBS schools, and after we play Coastal, and, we just got to take them one at a time, and our players know that we, got when we play South Carolina State's our other out of conference game, and I think they got a really good team down there this year, possibly. So, those are tough games, but we just, like they say all the time, like we all say, you got to take them one at a time, and right now, that can keep your attention. You were playing, good teams. It's always exciting to play an FBS team and to, get on the road and at the stadium. Like, I've never been to Virginia Tech myself. I hear it's a great atmosphere. And of course, when we get there, I think, we'll be ready. But right now it's kind of day to day getting ready for this first game.
Yeah. I'll see Coach Mowgli down there on Thursday. You want me to tell him anything?
Yeah, just tell him I said hello. I think they got, he's, like I said, they've just done a really good job down there, and they've got good players, and, they do a lot of good things with their program. Great quarterback, and Alex Ross, and some threats on the perimeter, D'Angelo Henderson at running back, and then defensively their front back. So they got a really good football team.
Too bad you're not playing down there this year, because they have a teal field now.
I saw that.
Teal color, it really jumps out at you.
I bet it
teal
does.
Colored field. Did you think about going all purple with your field?
Some people did.
Not you.
No, not me.
You're in that category. Coach, thank you very much.
All right.
Have a great year.
Right, Phil, thanks for coming up.
Oh,
here.
my pleasure.
Really
Look forward to
appreciate
seeing you throughout the season and talking to you.
All right.
All right, Coach Bruce Fowler.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Coach Bruce Fowler from Furman. And we've got a couple of the Paladins coming up, Reese Hannon and Corey Magwood, right around the corner here on Sports Talk. Back in a moment.
even though what we do is wrong.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour, and we're at Furman University tonight. We heard from Coach Bruce Fowler, and we're joined now by a couple of the Paladins, quarterback Reese Hannon and linebacker Corey Magwood. Good to have the two with us tonight on Sports Talk. We always start with the quarterback. Sorry, Corey. You know how this goes. Yeah, Reese, good to see you again. How is the leg and the foot, and how are you feeling?
I feel great. Just itching, ready to go.
What's it been like rehabbing and getting back to where you injury?
It's been a long process. I started rehabbing about 3 weeks into the season last year after I had surgery, and just continued to every day put in what I got to put in to get where I am now. And hopefully I'll feel good and I'm ready to go.
Arm feels as good. Timing feels as good.
It does. Yeah. We've had a great off season, from the end of last season, great winter conditioning, mat drills, spring practice. We've just kind of built, and we feel good.
21 of 30, 230-something yards before you got hurt against Gardner-Webb on your way to a huge game when that happened. How did you get hurt?
Somebody asked me this question earlier today. Yeah. It's kind of a funny story. Well, not funny, but, last offseason I worked a lot about getting out of the pocket, extending plays and things like that. And, one of the first times I get to do it in a game, that's, third down, roll out, throw it, and get rolled up on and out for the year. So it was, it was pretty rough, disappointing feeling, but, past it now. There's nothing I can do about it now but look forward and put in the work every day and get ready to go.
Corey, from a defensive viewpoint, how has he looked in practice?
He's looked real good. It's hard to tell that he's been out so long. He came in camp, pushing us on defense, and we're just happy to have him back. He's making everybody better.
Are you guys under orders? Don't touch him?
Yeah.
Has anybody hit him?
No, sir.
Nobody's hit it. Have you been hit at all in camp?
I haven't.
Do you want to get hit?
I wish I could a little bit, just to get the first one over with. I hadn't been hit in a year, so it'll be. Hopefully I don't get hit against Coastal, but
well, I think
hopefully we can just keep prolonging that.
Corey, you want to volunteer to put the leather on him? Huh?
No, Reese is a tough guy. He can take it.
Oh, I know he can. How about the defense? How have you guys looked in camp?
The defense is looking real good. As you know, we have a lot of young guys who played a lot last year because of all the injuries. And we have Coach Gillenwater, the new defensive coordinator. We all love him. He's a high-energy guy, and he has a very unique way of getting guys to play hard.
And what is that unique way?
It's something that we call bags and pursuit every day before practice. And then at the end of practice, we do something called fifth quarter, and it's like it just makes us be accountable for all our mistakes. So guys are focused.
So he's got the defense playing at a faster tempo?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. And what other changes has he brought in terms of the X's and O's on the defense?
We have more speed on our defense now, so he's done a good job with getting faster guys in, and he's doing a good job with the rotation since we have so many guys who played a lot, and it's going to keep us fresh throughout the game and save us some snaps, keep us flying around.
Mm-hmm. Has your role changed any in this defense? Has he changed any of the fundamental positions on defense?
I wouldn't say my role changed. I still play the same bit. I would say we have Carl Ryder back at the Mike linebacker spot. I played that role for him last year with him being out, and he's doing a real good job getting back out there.
132 tackles. You were very busy last year.
Yes, sir.
Have you set any goals for this year?
Just staying healthy and being a general out there on the field and being the guy that they can count on when a big play needs to be made.
Mm-hmm. Reese, how tough is this guy?
He's one of the toughest guys on our, all of our guys have a lot of respect for him, and he, voted a captain last week, and I'm glad he's on our team.
And you were voted a captain again as well.
Yes, sir. I was. We were me and Magwood and wide receiver Jordan Snellings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I speak for all of us when I say we're just thankful that
it's an honor
that our teammates think enough of us to do that.
Coming off a 3-win season, I know the hunger level's got to be extremely high among the players.
It is. We carried it right into the off season, and it kind of been a theme. And at this point, though, that 3-8 season's in the back. We're done with it. We don't talk about it. Only thing we're worried about right now is beating Coastal Carolina.
Yeah. Mention Coastal, great offense, one of the best quarterbacks in FCS, terrific running back, Corey. How about your defense matching up with those guys in about 10 days or so?
We look forward to it. It's going to give us a good idea of where we stand, and I think we're going to surprise them with how hard we playing compared to us last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you probably feel like you owe them something, don't you?
Yes, sir.
They've beaten you guys a couple of times very close. Great seeing you. Hope you stay healthy. If you guys stay healthy, I think this team's got a chance to go a long, long way. And best of luck to you this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for being here.
Reese Hannon and Corey Magwood of the Furman Paladins with us tonight on Sports Talk, and we'll be back in a moment. Once again, thanks to the folks here at Furman for being so gracious and courteous to us. Always love coming up here. Thanks to Reese Hannon, Corey Magwood, Coach Bruce Fowler, veteran SID Hunter Reed for his great work for us here. Now to recruiting. Offensive lineman Pete Leota of Asheville has narrowed his decision to USC and Virginia Tech, eliminating North Carolina. His plan now is to visit Virginia Tech for the Ohio State game, USC for the Kentucky game, and soon after that trip to Columbia, he plans to make his decision. At this point, USC remains his leader, but that's been the case since he attended the showcase camp back in July. He's in regular touch with USC line coach Sean Elliott. Meantime, the Gamecocks appear to be moving on at this point from offensive lineman Landon Dickerson of Hickory, North Carolina. He tells us that he's not heard from South Carolina in some 3 weeks. They have been on his short list, maybe not so much in the future. Official visits for him are set with Michigan, September 12th, and Auburn, November 28th. Also considering Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Florida State. Defensive back Tony Butler, Lakewood, Ohio, has cut his list to Clemson, Arizona State, and West Virginia, announcing on October the 5th. He was at Clemson and West Virginia unofficially this summer. He'll take an official visit to Arizona State either September 13th or September 25th. That will be his only visit between now and his decision. He's remained in regular contact with Clemson since his visit in late July following his decommitment from Pittsburgh. He says the Tigers, they do like him a lot. Clemson will get an official visit from defensive lineman David Marshall, Thomaston, Georgia. Clemson, Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, Miami. USC signee defensive back Octavius Johnson has enrolled at Gulf Coast Mississippi Junior College. That means he won't be available to USC or any other team until 2017. And in basketball, 6'6" Durante Jenkins, former Lake Marion standout, now at Hargrave Prep, Virginia. 3 officials are set. VCU, September 3rd. Tennessee, the 11th. Clemson, October 3rd. He is still looking at USC, Rutgers, Georgia Tech, and LSU for his other 2 official visits. He's undecided on those other 2 visits. And there you go with recruiting. And don't forget, you can check our recruiting out all the time online at our website, sportstalksc.com, and on Twitter, use the hashtag STRecruiting. You know, this is the kind of day you live for, guys. A lot of great news, important interviews, great people to talk to. It's been a lot of fun.
And great communication equipment.
Yeah, phone lines, the blessed thing, are they not?
Amen.
We're very happy when that happens. All right, final thoughts, K-Mac?
Well, we don't really have any more questions out of USC now that we have the quarterback question answered. So now we just got to wonder if Clemson's going to lose anybody else between now and Wofford.
Yeah, and warning to the Clemson media, do not ask Dabo Swinney about DJ Reader. Final thoughts, Pro?
Well, I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen now that Mitch has the reins and see he's going to get all the reps, see if he can do his thing on Thursday, a week from Thursday, I should say.
All right, we'll see you in the studio tomorrow night. DNR night in our final half hour tomorrow night. Look forward to that. Thank you, State Man, and see you tomorrow here on Sports Talk.